Have you ever found yourself stuck replaying the same argument or hurtful moment over and over again in your head? It's exhausting, right? Well, what if I told you that there's a way to let go of that quickly and free yourself from that mental and emotional weight? That's what the rapid forgiveness process is all about. Let me show you how to release and move on with clarity and peace. First, it's important to talk about what forgiveness is. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting, excusing, or saying what happened was okay. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of anger and resentment. Forgiveness is about letting go of the emotional charge tied to a situation. It's not about condoning the hurt, but about choosing peace over pain. And here's the secret. Forgiveness is something that you do for yourself. It's about taking back control over your emotions so that the hurt no longer dictates your thoughts or your actions. That the person or situation no longer lives in your mind rent-free. Now, what qualifies for forgiveness? Of course, you get to be the judge of that. Essentially, it can be anything that's on your mind and unresolved. Arguments with a partner, family conflicts, broken friendships, infidelity, betrayal or abandonment, maybe someone hurt you mentally, emotionally, physically, trauma or abuse, social injustices, or things people have done, haven't done, or perhaps should have done. The list really is potentially infinite. So to keep it simple, really anything that's on your mind that isn't resolved that you want to let go of. And that's what we're doing today. I'm going to walk you through a simple step-by-step process to forgive quickly and effectively. We'll use the acronym RELEASE as our guide. Let's jump in and take a look at the rapid forgiveness process. And to help you experience this, I'll put a link in the description below for an audio download that'll walk you through the entire process. Now, each letter in the word release represents one step in the process. Let's go ahead and break it down. R is for recognize the issue and the emotions. First, recognize what's bothering you. What's the situation and how does it make you feel? This step is about getting clarity. Maybe it's something someone said, something someone did, or perhaps something they didn't say or they didn't do. That's usually the easy part. And then take the time to recognize the emotions. What emotions come up? Anger, betrayal, hurt, but we're not going to spend too much time here because we're going to be letting these go. But we need to connect a little bit, otherwise it's just an intellectual exercise. Once we've done that, then we're ready for E, which is explore why to forgive. Simply answer the question, why do I need to let this go? And why is it important for me to let this go now? What does it cost me by carrying this? What will it cost me if I continue to carry it into the future? Really connect to the why here. Then we're ready for L, which is to look at why not to forgive. And this perhaps is the most important step. Look at why you don't want to forgive this person or the situation. Now, at first glance, when I ask clients this, they often say, I have no reason to not forgive. But then when they continue on with the process, the real objections start to come out. They say things like, well, I can't forgive them because they might do it again. Or if I forgive, I'm approving or condoning the behavior. Or if I forgive them, then they'll win. Or I can't let them get away with this. These types of thoughts are exactly what we're looking for in this step. What's keeping you stuck? Why are you still holding on to this? What condition have you set up that causes you to carry this around? Whatever the reason, it's okay. Acknowledge it without judgment. Now, once you know what's holding you back, you can address it in the next step, which is E, which stands for eliminate the resistance. And if you look, you'll see that the last four steps here, the acronym spells out EASE, E-A-S-E, because that's how forgiveness works. It's done with ease, by letting go, not by forcing things. If you're forcing it, then you haven't really done this step, which is to eliminate the resistance. And this is where forgiveness really begins. Everything else has just been preparation to forgive. Think about what we've done so far. We ask ourselves, okay, what do we want to forgive? Why do we want to forgive it? Why not forgive it? And then we work through that issue. So eliminating the resistance is working through any mental or emotional blocks to forgiveness. And the natural conclusion of that is a decision to let it go. And that's what forgiveness really is all about, a decision. There's lots of different techniques out there for forgiveness, and all of them, including this one, come down to a decision. Everything else is optional. But what I like about this approach is it requires us to look at our blocks. Doing a forgiveness exercise, if you're not ready to choose forgiveness, it doesn't really work. This gets us to look at the issue straight on. What's blocking us from forgiving, and what do we need to do to eliminate that resistance? And this, of course, will vary based on your situation. For some, it's looking at things from a different perspective, reframing the situation perhaps. Or it's a learning that you need to get in order to let it go. For many people, this is where the bulk of your time is going to be spent. And this may also be where you need help in working through this block with a coach such as myself, or someone else who you trust to help you shift your perspective. To give you an idea of what that looks like, here's 2 frames to help you get started. The first idea is the idea of relationship bank accounts. When there is a need for forgiveness, there has been a withdrawal in the relationship bank account, and it's possibly overdrawn. In that sense, they owe you. It's a debt, at least from your perspective. And what we're doing by not forgiving is we're keeping them on the ledger. Every day, every month, every year that we don't forgive, we're carrying that debt forward on the books, which you can do if that's what you want to do. That's absolutely your right. The alternative is, though, that you can close the account. You wipe away the debt and you are free. You no longer have to see if they made amends. And that leads us to the second frame, which is the idea that holding on to anger, also known as unforgiveness, is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When we hold on to unforgiveness, we're only hurting ourselves. Instead, you can give yourself the gift of peace and freedom by choosing to let go. And again, that's what forgiveness is. Choosing to let go. In that sense, all forgiveness is really instantaneous. Now, someone might think it took them years or decades to forgive, but that's not true. It took them all of that time to prepare to forgive, because there was a moment that they had the anger and then a moment that it was gone. And in between was the decision to forgive. Change happens in an instant. And once you've decided to forgive, anchor that decision. Anchoring helps you lock in the feeling of peace and release. And here's how to do it. Simply think about how good forgiveness feels. And as that feeling of forgiveness comes up, press your thumb and index finger together, or choose another simple physical action that you can do, and that associates that gesture with that feeling. And anytime you need to reconnect with the state, use that anchor. Do that same gesture again and again, and you'll be able to feel that forgiveness over and over. And the great part is, the more that you do it, the stronger the anchor becomes, and the easier it is to forgive in the future. Now that we've talked our way through the decision to forgive, connected to the feeling of forgiveness, now it's time to bring in a visualization with S, which is to see the forgiveness. Now, there are many visualizations you can do, but one simple one is to imagine the person in front of you that you're forgiving. And since they no longer are renting space in your mind, it's time to let them go. In your mind's eye, as you see that person, shrink the image of them down to the size of a postage stamp. Then take a deep breath, and as you exhale, imagine that you're pushing them far away off into the distance, off into the sun, the horizon, or wherever you want them to go, like a distant memory that you never have to think about again. And once you've done that, you're ready for the last piece, which is E for embrace and integrate the learnings. Finally, embrace what the process has taught you. Maybe it's resilience, compassion, or self-awareness. Ask yourself, how has this experience shaped me? What have I learned? How am I stronger, wiser than before? Connect with the learnings, because these are what keep you safe going forward. The rapid forgiveness process isn't just a tool, it's a mindset shift. And I challenge you to try this today. Pick one thing you've been holding on to and walk through these steps. Again, to help you with this process, I created a free audio download of the rapid forgiveness process, and you can listen to that as often as you like. I'll put a link down in the description. And remember, the most important part is identifying why you're not forgiving and working through that. If you'd like some help with that, schedule a time on my calendar to talk with myself or someone on my team. Thanks for watching. Until next time, develop yourself, empower others, and lead by example.